My name's Scott, and I wanted to record a progression of my rehab after rupturing my Achilles tendon last week.
This is the first of a series of videos I plan to upload to show you part of my Achilles rehab journey. Much of it will be to do with my progress with exercises along the way, plus a few thoughts, a bit of rambling, and maybe some other helpful information for those going through something similar. However, this first video is pretty much just talking, so if you're more interested in the exercises, then feel free to skip ahead.
I was skateboarding just down the road, just like I used to. Haven't done it for a very long time. Successively harder pushes, and suddenly my leg just gave way, and it felt like I'd collided with something. Turned around, didn't see anything on the floor. Thought, gee, that's really weird. Felt like I'd hit something, so I think my foot, hit the ground. I tried to get up and walk, and found that I couldn't, and I just couldn't put any weight on the right leg and have it act as normal. It felt as if there was an important mechanical piece that was missing. This camera is sitting on a tripod at the moment, and if one of the legs suddenly disappeared, it would just fall over in that direction. And it's pretty much how it felt. I could stand on the heel and stand tall normally, but walking just wasn't happening. Putting any pressure on the foot and leaning forward. So I hobbled to the hospital and started freaking out. I realized I think I probably snapped my Achilles tendon, which is a big deal. At least the legend would have you believe so. But having gone through sort of the last several days of dealing with the inability to walk, they first put me in a cast where the foot was flexed at an angle like that, called plantar flexion. And the idea is that the Achilles tendon will be moved slightly up the calf, such that the other side of the tendon can start healing with it. I saw an orthopedic surgeon a few days after that, or a bit longer than I wanted to, but that's the public system in Australia. And had the choice of either going with surgery or just immobilizing and allowing the tendon to heal. And the outcomes were comparable, which surprised me a lot. I'd done my little bit of reading like everyone does before they go to the doctor, and I'd pretty much had it in my head that surgery was the option for me. And it turned out that going non-operative had some comparable outcomes, and I ended up finding the study myself by Willits and others, and decided, I'm gonna go without surgery, and I haven't changed my mind on that. The journey in the last week has been pretty rough. The first few days, I think emotionally, the journey was the roughest part. I had all these things planned, holiday, training for a black belt in American Kenpo, as well as, I was on the verge of amping up my fitness in preparation for the black belt. Had no plans of stopping working, and the snowboarding trip coming up in a few months. So everything was on track for that, and then suddenly this came out of nowhere. So the emotional aspect was pretty rough on me, and it's not affecting me as much now as it has been, but it's pretty out of left field. It's not something you really expect, and I know that there are many people that have it much worse than I do. This is, I've even joked about it a couple of times. This is a first world problem, but in reality, I've never felt so disabled in my life. The crutches that I've been using, the hospital provided, they work, and it's tough, really tough work getting around on the crutches, using muscles that you don't normally use to move your whole body and support your body with. And even just getting down the street is really tough work because I can't put any weight on this foot. So in reality, right now I should have the foot up to help reduce the swelling, and definitely not putting any of my body weight on that. So even having the leg resting here like that, I don't actually know how much of that I should really be doing. The doctors didn't specify at the time, and I didn't ask. So the physical journey in the last few days has overtaken the emotional one now that I've sort of gotten my mind around it. And day-to-day life is just tough. I haven't worked out how to get groceries. I probably have to, hang a bag on the front and put groceries in as I hobble around. But like I was saying, like hobbling around is it's pretty tiring. So I just sit down in the middle of the supermarket. And then cooking, I haven't attempted any serious cooking yet, apart from, heating up frozen stuff and making some noodles and chucking some frozen bits in, relatively easy. But the last couple of days, not sure what's going on, but when I'm standing and my knee sort of drops below waist level, it's as if the pressure builds up in the leg, like the blood pressure, and it just starts hurting, mostly in the calf. And it doesn't surprise me that that area of the leg would be sore, given the trauma it's been through. But at the same time, it's really quite difficult to work out what I should be doing instead to relieve that pressure. I even tested it by taking the moon boot off, and that did nothing. So I know it's something to do with the blood slowly rushing down, because straight away, if I have it elevated for a while and I stand up, straight away it's fine, and then within sort of 20-30 seconds, I'm guessing the blood pressure rises, and then suddenly it just starts hurting. So I've been making a lot of noises in pain and even swearing a few times and wincing. It's really quite crazy how much that actually hurts, and I'm not even really doing anything. So that's one that I'm hoping will sort itself out sooner rather than later. But I have a physio appointment next week, and then seeing the ortho surgeon the week after. Apart from that, I don't really know what else to say. Showering is a workout in itself. It's really tough. The putting the plastic bag on and everything requires you to be sitting down. So I sit down to put on the bag, get in the shower, and then sit down, shower myself as much as possible while sitting down, get out, dry myself, and before my leg fatigues or the other leg starts hurting, sit down again and take the bag off and dry off a bit more. And it's a real process. And obviously it's something we all take for granted, but you don't really truly appreciate how rough it is until you have to do it yourself. I'm glad I've got friends and family around who are willing to help, happy to help. I think in time, the willingness to help will gradually die off. Obviously, closest friends and family will be much less so, but I'm glad everyone is so happy to help But it's just one of those things you can't continue to support someone. So I'm trying to ask for as little help as possible. And typical me, I aim to be self-sufficient, and right now I'm not. It's yeah. I feel like I'm a kid again in some ways. I can't do everything for myself. Well, I probably could. Groceries and cooking as an example. It would just take a really long time and be real difficult. Even getting laundry done. It's easy enough because the laundry gets transported there in small chunks, a t-shirt, pair of underpants. Putting in the wash, easy. Putting it up into the dryer is easy. But then you've suddenly got a whole load of washing and bringing that out. Normally just bring it out in a basket all at once. You put it on the couch, put it on the bed, fold it up. It's easy. Now it's carrying stuff in general. It's just difficult. So carrying a whole load of washing, real difficult. Carrying a drink bottle so that I can, take my drink bottle to the other room while I'm on the computer. That's 2 hands in your crutches. So what's carrying the drink bottle? So I've resorted to using a backpack to carry stuff around the apartment. Carrying a cup of tea or coffee, it just spills. So it's not even worth trying. I need one of those sealable thermos type mugs. Good thing is I got both hands and I've got my mind. I can still do a lot of things. I can still be productive and do something like this. Even setting up the camera, the tripod, the microphone, and getting my settings right and everything. That was a bit of work, a lot more work than normal.
Here are 3 photos from day 13. You'll notice a fair bit of bruising and swelling around the ankle. Whilst the swelling and bruising disappeared over time, it still lasted for weeks. Also note the similarity in left and right calf size. The right calf shrunk significantly in the following weeks.